Ni ai Ni ta no du te o ti linh Tu shi ning noi gao mong ni chi bo Ba lo bia hai cho ti linh tu tu mi mai gao Mua cho kê tu xia e kia mua sao Kia lo ua y mi đại đau cha
In a world dominated by digital screens and instant gratification, there's an increasing divide in our human connections and difficulties expressing our vulnerabilities. Letters to My Podcast explores the tapestries of storytelling by transforming written letters into spoken word. I have the honor of interviewing courageous guests as they dedicate their letters to a loved one, showcasing their vulnerability through their past experience, reflecting on challenges and lessons learned, present realities, exploring current identities, struggles, and passion, future aspirations, sharing their hopes, goals, and dreams for the future. Lastly, and most important, is wisdom sharing, imparting their wisdom, their advice, and inspiration to the next generation. Some of you who may not be Hmong may be wondering, what is a Tu and why Mai? The names Mai and Tu are two of the most common names in the Hmong culture, similar to Muhammad, Fatima, Juan, and Maria. Tu is a wordplay to two. Mai is a wordplay to Mai. Hence, the guest dedicates a letter to my daughter, son, partner, or whoever. Hello, 안녕하세요. My name is Sai. I'm your podcast host with the Letters to My Podcast. Welcome, where I get the privilege to capture, reflect, and share stories. I love what I do as a social worker. I'm proud to be Hmong. We are a small and mighty ethnic group from Southeast Asia. Get ready for the guest to Sa Sol, which translates in our language to send message. Again, Sa Sol, to send message by the way of letters that speak and stories that heal. Here's our next guest. Enjoy vulnerable listening. Bye. Welcome, everyone, to the Letters to My Podcast. My name is Sai. I'm your podcast host. Welcome to Season 1. Today's episode, we're going to be talking to Lee Xiong, and he's going to be talking about his amazing experience being one of our most famous and infamous basketball team for the Hmong community, and also going to be talking about fatherhood and what it means to be a Hmong man. Lee, welcome to the podcast again today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show, man.
Yes. So for those who don't know, Lee Xiong is, I'll tell you more about his bio and so forth, but to me, and personally to me, he is my brother-in-law. So he's been a family member of mine. Lee, we've known each other for, I know, 15 years, but what year was it when we first met?
Man, I think it had to be close to like 2007, 2008 time frame.
Right. Lee is married to my youngest sister, Yuo, too, as well. They have three wonderful boys. Sorry, tell me.
3 boys at the age of 6, 5, and 2, and then one on the way.
Yeah, that's right. So, so that's who Lee is to me. Today, Lee is going to be dedicating his letter, and he's written a letter, and I would love for you all guests to just listen to it. Lee, when you're ready.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Here's my letter, guys. It goes, Dear kids, this is your dad, Lee Xiong. I'm ready to share my life experiences with you and to guide you as you grow into strong, responsible men. Life has its ups and downs, and I want to be an example, both of what to do and what not to do. Learn from my mistakes, embrace the good, and add your own unique touch to your life. But always remember, everything in life revolves around love, hard work, and respect. I was once a young kid like you, All I wanted to do was play sports, ride my bike, play video games, hang out with friends and cousins. During summer breaks, I would be out early in the morning and not come home until late at night, driving Grandpa Sai and Grandma Chow crazy with worries. But as time passed, they accepted it because they were focused on working tirelessly to provide a better future. As immigrant parents, their days were filled with hard work, and as kids, we had a lot of freedom. Growing up, I saw firsthand how hard Grandpa and Grandma worked. I wake up for school while Grandma was getting ready for work, and I come home from school as Grandpa was heading out for his shift. They split their schedules so one of them could always be home with us. We didn't spend much time together daily, but they did the best they could. Their love and sacrifice gave us a better life. I still remember the days when all we had to eat was smashed cilantro and rice, noodles, microwavable food. Now we all can enjoy healthier meals and even go out wherever we want to eat. All because of their hard work and love. The same love they had for us is the same love I have for you. Being first generation in this country wasn't easy. Learning the language, adapting to the American culture, dealing with racism, it was all a challenge. I learned English from watching cartoons, ESL classes, and simply just communicating with my teachers and classmates. I wasn't the best student, and I often was teased for my accent and background. But through hard work, I overcame those barriers, made friends, graduated high school, and started working. Education wasn't always my priority, and I pushed it off for years. But later, I realized how important it was, and I worked hard to earn my associates. Now, with dedication and perseverance, I have a stable job and continue to strive to improve myself and provide for my family. Sports played a big role in my life. They kept me out of trouble and taught me valuable lessons. I was always the smallest player in the field, but I didn't let that stop me. I put in extra effort practicing on my own, training harder than the bigger kids until I became one of the best. I went from not being picked for teams to being the captain for my high school team. I led my high school team and even made it to the newspapers. I never made it to professional level, but the hard work I put in taught me that effort and perseverance pays off. No matter what you pursue in life, if you work hard and stay committed, you will see results. When your back is against the wall, fight back. I grew up listening to Grandma and Grandpa stories about their struggles in Laos and Thailand, the terrifying nights escaping through the jungles, losing loved ones, and doing whatever it took to reach America. Knowing their hardship and the sacrifices they made gave me a deep respect for the culture, our elders, and our roots. If I had been in their shoes, would I have had the courage and strength to do the same? Respect your elders and their wisdom. Never forget that we are here because of their sacrifices. Respect is earned by giving respect. Live your life to its fullest potential. Strive to be the best version of yourself in everything you do. Don't be afraid to fail. Every failure is a lesson that will help you succeed next time. Give your all in everything you do. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how you grow. Live with love and respect for others. Be yourself. Work hard and always find joy in life. I leave you with the 4 L's. Learn, love, live, laugh. Love, Dad, Lee Xiong.
Lee, thank you so much for reading the letter to us. At one point, I can hear that your voice was cracking, and what I felt that it was part of the sacrifices that your mom did, and that's something that we really want to talk about. Can you tell me more about that? What triggered you?
You know, growing up, my mom, she came to America when she was very, very young. She moved around and finally met my dad. Growing up, my dad, we lived in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and my dad would work in the cities, the Minneapolis area, for a very long time. So he'd be gone weeks at a time. The only time he would be back is when on the weekends. So it was all on my mom. So my mom had to work, go to school, and take care of me and my brothers.
Right.
Through her, perseverance, she got a nursing I believe a nursing certificate, or graduated in nursing. She's a nursing assistant, and she worked her tail off, came home, still helped us with our homework, made sure we weren't in trouble, or when we did get in trouble, help us definitely get out of trouble all the time.
Right.
So, through her hard work and everything she's done for us, this is where we're at. We live in a better life for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are the moments, especially this podcast, is just like, it's like the vulnerability aspects of you, first of all, expressing that and also acknowledging the sacrifices that your mom has done. Now, I met your mom and she's a tiger or a lion, so she's amazing. Lee, thank you so much for that and sharing and reading this very vulnerable letter. And this is what I want you listeners to learn on how to express yourself and how to tell your story, because if you don't tell your story, someone else will. Okay. How was it talking about that letter, dude?
Man, it brought me a lot of memories.
Right.
Obviously, things that I could redo or things I could change. But, that's all in the past. That's made me who I am today.
Lee, thank you so much for sharing your letters and being vulnerable. I appreciate it. Everyone, I want to tell you a little bit more about Lee. Lee is 39-year-old Hmong American man. He was born in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and currently resides in Champlin, Minnesota. And the reason I said weak, everyone, because we're a Vikings fan, and he is
a Packers fan.
You mean Whackers fan?
Hey, come on now.
Lee is a husband and father of 3 and is soon to be 4th, like he said before. Lee works in IT as an IT Support Analyst. He enjoys watching sports, going outdoors, traveling, gaming, and eating. Lee, could you introduce yourself to us?
안녕하세요. 굴룸베의 Lee Xiong. 군나구지 룸베의 사이파 Xiong. 하차오모.
And Lee, you said your introduction in a different dialect. Can you introduce a little bit what that dialect is, so listeners would know?
Yeah, so the dialect that I speak is green, or we call it in Hmong, we go Hmong Leng. So there's green and white. My family comes from the background of green dialect. I'm around a lot of people that speak the white dialect, so I know both pretty well.
Right, exactly. For folks who are non-native Hmong speakers, it's similar to how the Northerners speak and the Southerners speak, just different dialects. Okay, Lee, thank you for introducing yourself and reading the letter. So right now, we're going to transition into your past experience. Lee, so when you were reading your letter, I did see a sense of vulnerability and a sense of your voice cracking. You talked about that offline, about your mom's sacrifices. Can you talk and share with the listeners about what those were and kind of why it gave you that sense of emotion?
Yeah, so, as immigrant parents, my mom was very, very young when she moved to America. She met my dad, and my dad was a little bit older. So my dad we lived in La Crosse, Wisconsin at the time when I was born. My dad would come up to Minneapolis to seek job and to work jobs. So the only time I had my dad was on the weekends. Being that my dad or my mom, she was in high school. She worked. She took care of my brother and I, also her siblings. So, with her hard work and her perseverance, I wouldn't have a better life than what I would have back then.
Yeah. And then those moments, are those feelings appreciation, sadness, sorrow? What are those to her?
Those are definitely appreciation. Those are sadness because I probably could never do it. It's hard enough to do it now already.
And not knowing any goddamn English too? Shit.
Yeah, definitely. And learning the culture and language, definitely. But, she's a fighter, and she's the nicest person I know. She'll go out her ways for you. But, because of her hard work and pushing my dad as well, and my dad's hard work, that's why we're here. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure other kids. I don't know about you, but even for me, as much as growing up as a Hmong boy, we were taught not to talk about our feelings, to suppress it, be somewhat stoic. And I can't wait. I need to teach people what stoic means on this podcast, and I will. We don't have time for it right now. Being stoic does not mean emotionless, but we'll talk about that another time. But growing up as a Hmong boy, we were taught not to have that. So it was really difficult for me to express myself. How did you go through that, Liam?
Agree. I'm the oldest of 5. So I definitely.
Wait, how many siblings? Like, breaking out by gender.
So I got 3 brothers and 1 sister, all younger than me. So being that, and my dad worked nights all the time, it gave me I wouldn't say the opportunity, but I had to kind of grow up quick. So emotion wise, I never really showed emotions. I've never really saw my dad show emotions as well. Growing up, I had to fend for myself a lot. Just being out playing at the playground or at school. So you had to put a tough act on a lot.
And that tough act is not what I tell people, and I teach in therapy. It's not sustainable, and it's also like your car is running on 100 miles per hour every day, 24 hours, and you will burn out. Obviously, you have kids now, but at that time in your past, we want to focus in the past. Is like, how did you go through those struggles? Yeah, I think the listeners would like to hear what those struggles were, and how it taught you, or shaped you, or molded you.
For me, sports, like I said in my letter, sports played a big role. Kept my mind right. Kept me out of trouble, a lot of trouble, I would say, for sure. But always being outside, being with friends, cousins, just hanging out a lot. So I kind of hid my emotions. I most of the time never really let them out. So I kind of ran from them a little bit and kind of hid them, masked them with hanging out, sports, kind of where the masculinity would be at.
Keep going. Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's very no. I mean, first of all, you took healthy choices in going to sports. Some people do lead towards addiction, drinking. I know we have that issue in our Hmong culture too as well. But I'm happy that you're able to do those things. But these are the things. Sometimes it's just survival. So talking about survival a little bit, Lee. So those things are sometimes. I always ask the question, what broke you? Now the next question is, what molded you, or how did you reclaim that power, Lee?
I think for being in such a dark time for so long, or just meeting the right people, meeting my wife, your sister, of course, brought me a new sense of looking at life in a different direction and aspect. It was okay to express how I felt and not always hold it in. The more you hold it in, the more you bottle up, and then you explode. It could be a ton of things that are going on in your life, and then you explode all at one moment. Instead of just kind of like talking about it as they come, so you're not in such a high-headed moment. But also definitely when I had my first dog, it taught me a lot of patience. I always tell folks my dog helped me prep to have kids, to care for somebody else. With that being said, like I had to put a lot of things to the side and, really be an example for my kids and, just the people around me.
Okay, Lee, so we can transition just a little bit about your past experience. I'm going to ask you some questions. What were some dreams of yours when you were a kid and named at a certain age? Or what part of your life was instrumental in your early childhood that shaped you who you were today?
At the earliest age that I can remember, about 5, 6, I knew I knew or wanted to be a professional sports player, either basketball or soccer. Basketball was a little out of reach because at that time I was not good at all. But soccer, I progressed in soccer fairly quick. I learned it pretty well. Plus, my dad played it. So I thought I was going to be a professional soccer player for the longest time. Like I said, sports played a big role. And growing up playing sports all summer long, or soccer all summer long, there was a moment when I was probably around 13 or 14 years old. And I loved soccer a lot. I was probably one of the better players on the team at that moment. And my dad, I did something that my dad didn't approve. And he sent me to Wausau, Wisconsin to live with my aunt.
Damn.
I was there, yeah.
That's like military school, dude.
Yeah, so it definitely took me out of school for my friends.
But it uprooted you, dude. You were rooted in your community.
Yeah, and it made me miss a lot of soccer tournaments, which I love to play soccer. So when the time was right, my dad asked me if I wanted to come back, and I had to shape up. So I love soccer so much, and I love sports so much that I came back, and I definitely shaped up from what I was before.
You got whipped into the fish shape. Pros and cons to that, in my opinion. It was done without your decision, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it helped you. But at the same time, I don't know. Okay. I don't know what you see of that experience, but
I think there's
yeah.
just, as immigrant parents, that's their last resort.
You're right. You're right. Yep. No, I have definitely my fair share of corporal punishment. That's all I can say. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Again, do not hit your kids, anyone. So it's not healthy. So thank you. All right, let's transition a little bit more about regrets. Lee, did you have any regrets? You should have, you could have. Why didn't I? I wish I could have. If this would have happened, I would have done this.
Yeah, I think for me, and for a lot, I think for me myself, I could have taken school a little bit more serious. Once I got into junior high in Minnesota, it's called junior high. It was called junior high at the time. A lot of places know it as middle school. I slacked off a little bit due to just trying to get by, just so I can play sports, just be on the sports team. I knew I was smarter than that, but I solely concentrated so much on sports that I was just doing enough to get a good grade to be able to play. And that transitioned over to high school as well. With that being said, then after high school, I didn't take college very seriously. I went for a couple of semesters because my folks wanted me to go, just to make them happy. I went to school. Can I swear on here?
You can swear. I'm gonna take it out. Just fucking swear.
I went to school at a community college. I didn't put a lot of effort into it. Didn't do well. I got put on academic leave, and then I just worked. I just worked for dead end jobs, pretty much.
Wait, before you go on, I know those feelings that you're feeling right now. Is it shame, embarrassment, hurt, or not meeting your expectations? Which one are those?
Definitely not meeting expectations.
Right?
Definitely a shame as well, because you in yourself, you knew you could have done it.
Right.
But you just chose not to do it. You chose to put your attention and effort into something else that was probably a far reach.
I mean, it wasn't your dream anyways to start out with. What if that wasn't the school you want to go to? What if that was the major, or you just didn't know?
It very well could be. But at that time, the way I was trending from junior high to high school, I kind of knew that I didn't want to, pursue schooling after high school. And at that time, my thought process was, I'm still a good soccer player. I can make it somewhere. That didn't happen. And I didn't have a backup plan but to work at dead-end jobs.
That must have been hard and difficult too for you to process that. And those are the things that we'll definitely explore more, Lee. I'm happy that you brought up shame and not meeting your own expectation, and also adding on that pressure from the family. Because knowing how the Hmong culture are, we are so community oriented to its pros, meaning things that benefits us, but also there are some negatives that can negatively affect us too as well. Yeah, that's tough, Lee. I'm gonna ask you more questions, but I'm sure we'll expand more on that. Do you have anything else on that?
No, I think I'm good. Okay, thanks.
Okay. We're gonna transition just a little bit. Okay. So Lee, you talked about how sports gave you a push or gave you community and so forth. I kind of want to transition us a little bit about more stories, right? Stories that are more happier, because I'm sure that you talked a lot about a lot of things that are close to your heart. So thank you for sharing it to the listeners. I want you to reflect on a couple things. So we last talked about regret. Now let's talk about moments of proudness. So I want you to phrase it in I am proud that I blank.
I am proud that I went back to college and graduated with my associates in networking. I am proud that I am a dad to my kids. I am proud that they can look at me now and see that whatever I did in the past doesn't matter. As long as I know myself that I could provide and be their best friend.
Well said. Give me your happy and positive moment from your childhood and your siblings and your parents, and also just things that Yeah, just moments.
I think just moments for me is, as my dad and mom worked tirelessly, we still were able to take family trips, which meant a lot to me, because family is a big part of life.
That's right.
I remember going to Wisconsin Dells when I was probably like
Wait,
7 years
tell everyone
old.
what that is. Now everyone knows what that is.
So Wisconsin Dells is it's based in Wisconsin. It's a little city, and it's just filled with like amusement things like miniature golf, just a ton of
It
attraction.
may or may not be the largest city with a water park in America, I think. Okay, you were saying.
But knowing that we grew up with very little to none, my parents still were able to take us out on that trip and brought my grandma along. And one thing that stands out to me is obviously the water parks, but just knowing how much my dad loves deer. He took us to the deer zoo, and this is
I didn't know they had such a thing.
Yeah, man, they have a little zoo.
That's cool.
They have a little zoo with just deers, and the deers would come up to you, right next to you, and you would feed them like crackers and whatever food that you buy from them. So that was a fun moment. That was something a happy moment that I cherish and I remember all my life.
Yeah.
We have old VHS somewhere in the house of it. I definitely have to find it. I have to find a VHS player.
Lee, we might have some kids on this list who don't know what that is. Tell people what that is.
So before the cool Blu-ray and the CDs, we had this large tape. Probably, gosh, if I could find something, man.
It's
maybe
black.
The size of
it's black. It's the size of this. Yes, Lee, right there, right there.
So the size of that, I mean, it's just like it has movies, things like that. But we would have huge video cameras as well, the size of boom boxes that capture memories. Now you can probably convert it to CDs and whatnot, but
right,
DVDs. But it's somewhere in the house, and we'll definitely have to dig for it. But that'll be there forever.
When you have time, look at it. I encourage you to look at it because it brings back a sense of reflection.
Yeah,
and part of this podcast is to reflect on your life and those experiences, especially with VHS tapes, which has video, is so much stronger. That's why this podcast, Lee, I wanted to do a video so they can see the guests' emotion. They can see me talking as well. Okay, Lee. So before we transition, Lee, I know we just talked about moments of happiness and proud, but I forgot to ask you about grief. I understand. If I remember correctly, you just went to a funeral recently. Tell the listeners, I guess, more grief from your perspective, and what does it mean to go through grief? And also, there's something that we talked about in episode 1 with Dr. Dear Cha called community grief. How we do at the funeral. So talk more about your experience, your childhood, and what that means to you, I guess.
Yeah. So I just recently went to my aunt's funeral. Wisconsin. I'm fairly close to all my aunts, all my uncles, so definitely hit hard. But at my age and time,
Lee, beforehand, tell us, at least give some legacy of your aunt. Who was she to you, and who was she, so we can at least have it in this medium to know who she is, if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, my aunt, she was one of the elders, a very old woman, but she fought cancer for over 15 years. If you looked at her, you probably never would imagine she had cancer, and the way she acted, the way she smiled, the way she talked to you. And I think one thing that really, really, really stood out to me is like the love that she had for my uncle. My uncle's old too, and he's got a lot of medical problems too. But through those tough times, she never put herself first. She always make sure my uncle was being taken care of, attending to his, if he needed doctor appointments. Just the love that they both shared, it's amazing, and it's something that you dream and wish for yourself as well.
And then talk about your experience with going to that funeral and what grief means to you and the importance of community grief, if it is important.
It's grief is tough because when it's our family, we're always there to kind of work because we're attending to the community that does come to pay their respect. But there's a little short time that I did have, I just thought about all the good things, all the times, the moments that I've had. And just knowing that you probably never have those moments again with my aunt, definitely made me sad. But knowing that she's not fighting her illness, she's at peace. and in a better position now. Just makes me a little bit more happier, definitely.
And I guess focus on the Hmong community. Why? I'm sure you told people about our funerals in like 4 days. Like talk about, I guess, teach the younger generation why that's important, and also not only why it's important, maybe just something we do, but what does it mean to you?
I'm not very into the culture or know of the culture a lot, but Dad's funeral was 2 days. Well, 2 days into the burial, but we have it like that. I feel like we have like that just so everybody who gets a chance to come in and pay their respect to the person that has deceased. A lot of effort works definitely with family when you have to prepare food for the community that comes. You have to just do the little things, set up tables, set up food, running around town just to grab miscellaneous things. Just kind of be appreciative for the people that are coming to pay respect to the person that's deceased and to your family. I know because we're a Christian family, so it's a little bit different from the traditional ritual or ceremony and weekend there. But for me, it was just a time to actually connect with family again, grieve, see my aunt for the last time, and just give me good memories of what she was and who she was.
Thank you, Lee, for sharing that. Grief is one of the toughest things to deal with. It's something that everyone will go through. It's those memories, the time spent, and also just the simpleness of hugging that individual is all those moments that we think about. So this is why I'm sure you all were here as well. For me, is to combat this digital divide that we are in. With the look at the screen this much is not normal for us. So don't forget to connect with our individual. And also, Lee, it's just like we just came to the United States since 1975, and most of those folks are between 20 or in the 40s, and the older ones have passed away, and the first, I don't know what they call first generation, of the ones who help with the refugee moving out, the time is there. So enjoy the time with your people, enjoy the time with your parents. We're not going to have these people who have these experiences anymore from Laos to America. So anyways, even I'm feeling emotional about that, but we'll talk about it later. All right. So, sorry, Lee, any last thing about that?
Like you said, take some time to definitely share moments with the elders, your aunt, uncles, parents, and learn as much as you can from them. I think that's one takeaway that at this point in time in my life where I am older and the folks are getting older, we as a community don't really try to find out or learn about their past experiences and what lessons they have. So definitely find the time to spend with them and take as much as you can in, because sooner, it would be like a snap of a finger and they could be gone already.
Yeah. Nyonono Chipotaki. I think that's what I always hear from the OGs. So Nyonono Chipotaki stands for you're here today, you don't know what comes tomorrow. Thank you, Lee. Okay, Lee, so thank you so much for telling us about your past experience. We're going to transition to the present realities right now. So again, present realities, you'll be talking about your current passions, your current struggles, current challenges, things you're working on right now in the present moment into 2025. So Lee, I always like to ask guests, what are your identities to you? What do you identify as?
I identify as a Hmong American male, as a father of soon to be 4 and a husband.
And why are identities important to you?
To me, it's just who you are, and what you can bring to the table for your family as well. Obviously, there's unwritten rules, but each role in the family, they provide something, and you work together closely to blossom the family as much as you can.
Can you tell us about your current projects? Tell us about your current passion, things that you're doing presently, your hobbies, your goals, anything you're working on right now?
Right now, I'm just working in the IT field. Definitely pursuing to try to, move up the ladder, try to make a better life for myself and my family.
Lee, you know what? I forgot to ask about the most important thing in the past experience. We got to back up a little bit.
Okay.
We got to go back to fantasy basketball. God damn it. Totally forgot about that. Okay. So Lee, I want to tell the listeners on how you and I first met. Okay. Lee, I want to talk a little bit more about how we first met. And I first met you at Brooklyn Center Church, where there's a basketball court, right? And I remember seeing this guy with, I don't know if those who aren't playing in basketball, there's something called motion offense, right? Or just pick and pop. I couldn't remember what your offense was, Lee. Was it motion or was it something else?
I mean, it was the simplest play ever, but it was just a down screen and just move without the ball. So it's
Oh my God.
motion, basically.
Okay, so that's what that is. And
Yeah.
then before I ask you these questions, Lee, have you seen the basketball podcast interview, All the Smoke with Steven Jackson? And sorry, who's the other person?
Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes. Have you seen it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I listen and follow a lot of those podcasts.
Okay. So they have two questions I love. One is at the end. So they have two questions which I love. Okay. So the first question, Lee, is when was the first time someone busted your...
Wow. I've been crossed up once and fallen. That was by a Lee Xiong basketball player. You know, a good
Name
peer
him. Name him if he's okay.
We knew him as Pole. We knew him as Pole. He played with Northsiders with one of the great Laotian community players.
People want to know.
Man, that was probably 2013, 2014. I thought I was cool wearing my Jordans for the first time. I never wear Jordans to play again, man.
You got Crosse. And then for those who don't know Lee, I should have said this at the beginning. Lee plays for a Hmong basketball team they're called the Hmong Dynasty. So Lee, I got to talk for a second because I want to tell who you guys are to us. So at that time, we were young basketball players. I was in college. No, excuse me. I was in middle school. And we started seeing a bunch of Hmong guys playing at the park. And we started seeing a bunch of Hmong guys who are being, I guess, efficient and can shoot. So they were the modern day, you guys are the modern day Phoenix to me, or the modern day, oh God, there was another team. I can't remember.
Golden State?
Golden State, thank you.
Yeah.
Golden State, yes. That's what you guys are to, just a bunch of shooters. You guys have one Draymond Green, or one big enough, which is Luke, was it Draymond Green? I can't remember.
Luke and Tom.
Luke and Tom, there we go. So, sorry, let me backtrack in my excitement, everyone. Essentially, they were someone that was revered, respected, but also to be feared. Because at all the basketball tournament, they were almost always number one. And what it saw to me is like, what I saw from this teamwork, a commitment, being a master of your craft. Like Lee was not the tallest guy, y'all. I don't know much I know that. Not the shortest, but this guy had a mouth and he can shoot his corner three, and he played his role amazingly because his role was interchangeable. He wasn't just he can be the point guard, he could be whoever. So Lee, that said, tell me about what it meant to be dynasty for the community and what it meant to be dynasty for yourself and your brotherhood.
Yeah, it started out with not being. We were rivals, actually. We went to different schools. Yeah. We played on different church basketball teams. But when our captain, Alex Lee, wanted to form the team, he was picking and choosing who he wanted to be to make up this team with. So after competing with each other and being rivals at junior high against Chalai Lee, since me and Chalai are the same age, we formed this team. And, I think we wanted to just show folks that there are Hmong people that can play too. Just not Asian. We're not a very known community. So we wanted to show that a team made of just Hmong kids definitely can compete.
And who's not taller than 6 foot, right? There's no one taller than 6 foot.
Exactly.
Right.
No, we didn't have anybody taller than probably 5'10".
That's right.
Definitely the brotherhood that we formed, man, the long trips, the long talks, the lifelong relationships that you form with these guys are amazing. They're like my brothers. They're my brothers. But, competing, we wanted to show definitely other nationality too that, we aren't just a bunch of kids or immigrant kids that came over and don't know how to do anything and we're just good at soccer. We wanted to be outside of that and kind of reach for something different. And show that you can do it if you put your mind to it, you practice, you're organized, you can be just as efficient as anybody. And this definitely led us to some of us playing high school basketball and to the next level as well.
And think about that, y'all, in the 1990s or the early 2000s. And just for you kids to know that, as we just came in 1975 and it took us 25 years. So it's just brewing. It's all been brewing. And look at it now. We have kids who are in professional leagues right now. And we have also one of the best, Sunisa Lee, Olympian, right? So things like this. Anyways, keep going. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, just our time frame, it taught me a lot about having each other's back, brotherhood. You build your relationship again. And, obviously winning brings a lot of joy to yourself, but it also brings a lot of recognition through the community, through our small Hmong community. So that, that helped us a lot, and it helped blossom the basketball scene in the Hmong community as well.
Oh, yeah.
Fast forward to now, even probably 10 years ago, now we have our own July 4th Hmong basketball tournament, which, we thought, why not showcase the Hmong community a little bit? Because there was just very few Hmong teams that would compete in all Asian tournaments. So we wanted to showcase that, the Hmong community has some talent, and to bring out the kids to not be scared to just come out and play.
And what year was this when you were thinking about?
This is probably 2016, 2006, probably around. So we decided, we have our annual July 4th Hmong Freedom Festival in St. Paul, Minnesota here. We decided, me, Zhao, and Chip, we decided, let's throw an all Hmong tournament. Let's see, we can get some of these Hmong kids to come out, and, we know there's talent out there. We were able to get 20 plus teams and we were getting teams from Wisconsin, California, Iowa, Washington, Oregon. So we're getting teams from everywhere. Fast forward today, now, me and Chip have taken a back seat. Zao has taken off, ran this tournament very well. Now he's getting teams from everywhere. We got teams from Boston, definitely a couple teams from California.
Wait, are they tall? Are all these people tall?
These generation kids are a lot taller for sure.
Yes.
But, you still get our Wisconsin, our Minnesota.
Wait.
We have a Florida team, a Georgia team. So they're coming from all over, and it's very pleasing to see that the Hmong community from everywhere are having, they have the talent. They need a platform to kind of showcase it, to boost their confidence and be able to say, we can play and compete as well.
Well, that's what you're doing. You, Zhao, Chip, and everyone. You're creating space at the end of the day, and that's why I want this podcast to create space of conversations like this. So talk about the importance of creating space, which means the community building aspects of this. Like, how did you all build this, and what benefits did you see?
For us was to showcase that the Hmong community had hidden talents, which has led to kids playing
untapped talent. Sorry.
Yeah,
untapped.
And kids now are actually playing at the next level, in the college level now. Also, it's just to bring the community together again, just a safe space for people to enjoy good basketball, to enjoy watching and playing what they love to do, and especially just to have a relationship again, to see old faces, because as we grow, we don't have that time to see each other. So that was a time for us to say, pay our respects to the ones that came before us. Also, kind of see what new talent that has evolved.
Exactly. Now, you may not like the next question, Lee. What have others said to you and praised you and made you and say thank you for helping me in terms of basketball? What has other people said it to you? So I want you to be self-serving.
Not everybody on the team could be the superstar, and I was not the superstar. But every team has role players. I got kids nowadays. They come in, they want to learn. I train on the side when kids do ask. They ask about how to just play the game, just the IQ of the game, just to play the game. But most importantly, I tell these kids, basketball is just an outlet. Keep your head in the books for sure, because, basketball is not going to last forever. But as long as you have an education, and you can definitely pursue that and make a life for yourself.
No, I think that's important too as well. I was more focusing on how you were a role model to other basketball folks.
For me, I think for that question, on the court, I get the most points. But by doing the little things to keep the engine going, you may not get the most points, you may get the flashy plays, but to play defense, or to play good defense and do little things, be scrappy and take charges, put your body on the line. Not everyone's going to be a superstar. And I think kids know that not everyone can be a superstar. and they tend to look at other pieces. How can you support your leader? How can you support your winnings? How can you support your team, your brother in arms? Because without supporting Kaz, a leader or an all-star may only go so far.
Exactly.
So you gotta have those other mechanics or other things there, other supporting roles to definitely win and to have a good time, basically.
Yeah. And for the listeners, don't listen to this fight because we're going to break down some basketball history right now, okay? So we're going to break it down. So Lee, when you were talking, I always think of the Detroit Pistons, not the bad boys, but Detroit Pistons with the Rasheed Wallace, the two Wallace Walls, Chauncey Billups, Big Shot, Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, and everyone. But they would never have won their championship. It was not for Antonio McDyess. And I can't remember that point guard, Lindsey something Lindsey.
Dorsey? No. I can't. Lindsey Hunter?
I think so. Yes. But those two were instrumental. I'm sure there's another one off their bench that was instrumental, but they would never have won the championship without those three, without those people. So, So that's what Lee's describing. So Lee, who did you model your game, if there was any, in the NBA?
Man, I was mainly a D3 guy. You know, I always liked the superstars. Definitely, I liked Jordan at the time. I liked KG at the time. Like Stephon Marbury at the time. So I was never one person I modeled my game around. But as I molded, I kind of looked towards like Rip Hamilton, Ray Allen, just being able to move off the ball and get yourself open, finding the spots.
With no dribbles.
Spots. Yeah, with no dribbles, definitely. And in today's modern world, it's probably like Klay Thompson.
Yeah, for me, I was more baby Chris Paul to not as good as Jason Kidd, but doing a little bit of everything just like Jason Kidd. So those are always my inspiration. And Sam Cassell was my inspiration because of mid-range game. So Lee, is there anything that you want to share with kids who are going, whether it's professional route or wanted this to be something that is part of the craft? Any advice you're going to give them, you want to give them?
Definitely one thing is work hard. Work hard. Take your practices like a game. Always practice at full speed. Practice always should be harder than the games. That's how you evolve. And repetition. Definitely, it may be boring, but you look at the greats and they're in the gym shooting 1,000 shots, and that's before the game. You can never master something. Always practice, repetition, hard work.
Now tell us from your experience how you did that.
I was in the gym a lot on my own. I would find the local gyms. I wouldn't even play pickup ball or run, fives or play 21 with other people. I would just go and find an open hoop and just work on the things that I knew in game that I was going to get. So by doing it so over and over again, it just became muscle memory. And obviously, even when it becomes muscle memory, you still got to work at it, definitely, because it'll never be perfect.
Yeah. All right. Tell more about advice, and one of the advice I would like you to talk about confidence too.
Have a lot of confidence in yourself and in the people around you. First and foremost, in yourself, because you're putting yourself out there. You want to go into the game knowing that you're one of the best. Obviously, until proven, you always want to go in there with a mindset of, no one can, be better than you. No one's better than you besides you and your brothers. Have that mindset. Play hard. I definitely want kids to know that you could do anything you put your mind to as long as you put a lot of work into it. Nothing comes easy, and it's gonna take a lot of time and effort, but that's the key right now. I think that's the key, the only way to get better.
And then I'm curious with this question: teach them how to handle failures, losses, and setbacks.
Playing with Dynasty, we didn't have a lot of those.
I remember
we didn't have a lot of those. But the ones that did come, those hurt a lot. It brought us back to the drawing board. It made us look at ourselves as we were playing at our fullest potential. It made us think of, okay, how can we do something different if they're playing us this way? So definitely game planning. You always have to be adaptable as well. So we, if they were cutting off our plays, we would have counter plays. Being adaptable to the environment or what they throw at us definitely was a big key to our success as well.
Definitely. And what I'm hearing from Lee is just like the ability to communicate, working together as a team, and just being vulnerable, because I'm sure you were yelled at too a lot, Lee.
A lot.
And you yelled back too.
Of course.
Right. So
of course.
We're gonna wrap up on the basketball, but what I want you to do, Lee, is say a letter to your dynasty brothers. If you feel comfortable, name them. Just kind of like, whether appreciation, thanking them, or whatever you want to say to them.
To my Hmong dynasty brothers, I appreciate you guys for taking me in, having the confidence in what I could do and bring to the table. I enjoyed all our time, our sleepovers, our practices, our video gaming, poker nights. You guys have taught me what it is to work hard, to be the best as you can be, and to definitely being able to show that the Hmong community has some talent.
Oh yeah. And then just thank you, Lee. I really appreciate that. I know I didn't tell listeners why I love basketball, but I love basketball. Basketball is a sport that saved me. And Lee, my oldest brother, Cal, and you know my brother, Cal, has always been one of my heroes in terms of basketball. And he reminds me of, Lee, help me think of a player that never won a championship, but it's really good right now. I can't think of one top of my head. That's like Cal.
He's like a Kevin Johnson that played with Charles Barkley.
Okay, there we go.
The point guard.
Thank you. So my brother Kyle is like what Lee just said, Kevin Johnson, who played with Charles Barkley, who never won a championship, but is always respected, revered. My brother Kyle is like a 90% free throw shooter. He can make any mid-range shot, whether it's running, passing, short. And this guy's 5 foot. How tall is my brother? 5'2"?
Probably 5'2", 5'3".
My God.
At the best.
Right. And you see him running around. So he inspired me, and he actually took me a lot to help me to not be go the wrong paths, because he took me every week. I remember it was Tuesdays going to Palmer Park, or Tuesdays going to the park in New Hope, or on the weekends we go to Bethune and all that stuff. So it really just brought me community and my love and joy for sports. And that's why I wanted you all to listen to this. And like Lee said, we do listen to all the smoke, and those are professional NBA players, but let's not forget our version of professional basketball players, and it's Lee, and these are the stories that we want to capture, because your team may be the first super team, in my opinion, and it's going to build up more and more and more. So thank you, Lee. Any other thoughts or last thoughts on basketball?
No, I just want to make sure the kids that are trying to play basketball, keep at it. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask the older ones that have came before them and played before them. Like, I have kids asking me to train them, so, ask away and gain that knowledge and apply that to life as well.
And Lee, I think you and Zhao and Alex need to start a paid basketball camp. And of course you need to make money, but the thing is, I'm thinking about the payment, because once a kid pays for something, then their motivation is different, right? Then they have to do this.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah. So I encourage you to really start small basketball camp, because I don't think I've seen a Hmong person doing a camp in a long time. Sports camp.
We have one coming up, but not us, but by one of my teammates.
Basketball? Oh yeah, duh. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Do more of that. Okay, so let's transition. Okay, let's go back to present. So I say thank you for sharing that, Lee. I want to ask you a different question regarding emotions, feelings, mental health, and how you process that. Let's ask a bit more just generally how you process it. Now I'll ask you about your kids afterwards.
For me, it's finding some time for yourself. You deal with your everyday work-life balance, all the extracurricular noises around you as well. So finding time for myself, like hitting the gym, getting some shots up in the gym, or just doing something that you love. Going out fishing is my therapy. So, just finding time and putting effort into yourself again, that brings a better version of you to the table. So that's how I carry myself there.
No, I think that's really good. How do you, hold on, let me phrase this correctly. As Lee, we talked a little bit about like difficulties processing emotion as a Hmong boy, and now you're growing up and you have kids of your own. Talk about your experience of like sadness, happiness, and how you help yourself, and just focus on yourself with that, because I think the listeners would like to hear or learn.
Yeah, from a young age, obviously never knew how to deal with a lot of things, a lot of emotions, but having somebody to just listen, and letting you kind of just spill your feelings is a plus. For me, that's definitely my wife. That's definitely you at times when we see each other. But just having the right people around you and just care about you enough to listen, that's something that I think everyone needs. We need someone there we need someone there to, bounce off ideas, going through struggles, because you never know, because they might be going through struggles and they've already gone through the struggles and they may have the answer, or they may navigate you around those kind of emotions.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about similar question, but to your kids.
So my kids.
Sorry, let's talk about similar question, but as a Hmong man raising your kid.
As a Hmong man as being a father to my kids, I look around and then myself and how I grew up. I try to navigate them to not do those things, or not take that path that will lead them down the wrong road. It's definitely a challenge, because our parents as immigrants, they worked hard. They didn't have that time with us like we have nowadays. So to be a parent it's almost kind of like you're trying the best you can. You try to take the good that you were taught, and you try to look at other parenting styles, and you just take the good and leave the bad. So for me, it's always being observant and trying to teach my kids the right way.
Sorry, it was a mute. No, I think that's it. And I just want to tell a listener, because Lee, I can definitely relate to that, because I've gone through my struggles of like how we were raised and seeing the pros and cons, because our parents did what they can to survive. And for those who may be frustrated, because I have had my frustration on my parents, although it was not warranted, it's because they didn't know. So an example of it is that what I'll tell you was like, was there ever a template of coming from Laos, refugee to America, Lee? Was there a template? Has someone ever done that before?
No, I don't think so.
Right?
Never.
But what our parents heard is like, we're going to be prosperous. So coming to America, we'll have a more prosperous life. Because at that time, the Hmong people, I'm pretty confident, all those who were alive at that moment, all they knew was war, to as well, and to run away and so forth. And I remember hearing, God, I can't remember, someone's mom, it might have been Tujer's mom or someone else's mom, that said that now we live in a country with no wars and now we can thrive. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just like, they don't have a template too, for those who are struggling with meeting your parents' expectation. They're just doing what they can to what they believe will make you prosperous. So the question to you, not you, Lee, the listener, is like, what are you doing? You have this opportunity. And one thing, sorry, that went off on a rant, but the last thing you said that really stuck out to me is breaking the cycle, whatever that cycle is. So that's powerful, Lee.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, let's include it there. Let's transition to the future aspiration. And just want to tell you all, and you too, Lee, what aspiration means. So aspiration means a strong desire, longing, or aim, or ambition. Intellectual aspiration, it could be a craving, a yearning. It could be a goal or objective that is strongly desired. An example is that the presidency has always been in her aspiration since childhood. So things like that. Some of the questions for you, Lee. I can ask you to lead off, or you can wait for me to ask you the question. What do you prefer?
Go ahead, read the questions there.
Okay. So the first questions are, I want, I desire, I yearn, I will be, I aim for. Can you tell us, the guests, about that? Do you want me to repeat it? Are you okay?
Right now, what I want is definitely to have a house on the lake, to have a house big enough where I can take my folks in with me as well. Being the oldest, I will be taking my folks in with me. So definitely being on the lake. Therapy time, fishing for sure. What I aim for is to be the best version of myself for my wife and for my kids. As we go through our daily struggles, we want to come back home and have a safe space. So want to be the best version for them. What I aim for is for my kids to be more successful than me, to not go through the troubles that I went through, to not have to go through the hardship. They will go through a little bit of hardship, but not the type that I went through. And being able to take care of themselves and just remembering me as well.
Very well. Yes, thank you. So more specific question is, let's explore your hopes, goals, and dreams and what that looks like for you. What are they? Your foresights, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, what do they look like?
My hopes right now is for my kids to be able to succeed in school. And like I said, just to be a better version of themselves and not make the same mistake as me. My goals, leading to this is to better off my life and better off my family's life, where we can kind of live more free, not having to go through a routine every day, but to have a moment where, you can kind of go do whatever you would like to enjoy, you can enjoy and have some free time for yourself.
Sounds like financial freedom, someone.
Financial freedom for sure.
Yeah.
And for me, a long-term goal is, to have a good retirement plan where, I don't have to put that burden on my kids, where they can live their life. I can have my life, and I don't have to be a burden on them, and they don't have to always see if I need something or if I want something.
I hear you. So basically, you want to make sure that they have a successful life, and you want to give them the tools, experience, and so forth to help them. Is there anything more specifically on Lee's life? Be selfish. What are your goals, dreams, aspirations?
Man, it's tough to be selfish, man. I'm not a very selfish person.
I know. That's why I'm asking you.
I think for me, I just want to have a loving family. I've always talked about this to you guys as well. You guys come up from a good upbringing, and you guys have the best hangouts all the time, and you guys hang out with a lot of family all the time.
That's right.
But I want us, as we grow older, I don't want my family to be disconnected. I want us to be a loving family, to have a relationship, being able to be each other's best friend. Because, I said, friends come and go, but family will always be there. So there's nobody better to be a best friend with than your siblings or, your cousins or your family.
Exactly. It's the relationship that is built. It's time and effort, and no one can give you that unless you have had those experiences. So yes, you're absolutely right. And that's what family is. And we want to be vulnerable with the ones that are closest to us. Right? Because like you said, those are the people who can help you and you feel comfortable. And if you don't have anyone, seek help. Okay. So I'm thinking, what does persistence mean to you, and how is that going to help you in your future aspirations?
So that word there, it just means to show up and put effort in. If you want something and you want to be good at something, or if you want something, you got to work hard towards it.
Wait,
and that's not
why is it not given to you? Talk about that.
What do you mean? Why is it not?
You know how things in life aren't given to you, and why hard work combats that? Can you talk about that?
Sometimes, I feel like you may not just have the ability, or you don't. You're just not very good at it. But the more and more practice, the more and more time and effort you put into it, you'll so slowly see that progress grow. And it's the same thing as if you want to reach a title at a job or something. You take on projects, you take on extra work, you persistently put in the hard work every day. You'll be noticed, and you'll definitely you'll reach your end goal there.
Oh, you definitely have to put in the work and the mindset and the persistence, because the thing is just like, especially with sports, a lot of time, if you think I'm going to miss that shot, talk about that, Lee, versus I am going to make that shot.
If you tell yourself you're gonna miss that shot, you're losing already.
Why?
You lose. You should not even take that shot because you don't have the confidence in yourself. You're telling yourself that even if you're wide open, you're telling yourself that you're not going to make it. So you rather give the ball to somebody else. But if you, in your mind, you tell yourself that you're going to make it, you're the best.
In my mind, I want you to tell exactly what's going on in your mind. Okay, I think they want to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. In my mind, I tell myself, oh, I'm going to hit this shot, or I'm going to make this shot, or I'm going to make this play. I kind of foresee it before it happens.
Right.
And it gives you the confidence to take that shot, or to do the next move with confidence. Confidence comes with a lot of, what do I want to say? Confidence in yourself goes a long way, because if you don't have the confidence, no one else will have the confidence in you.
Yeah, that's it. And then what Lee has talked about, confidence is built with practices, time in the gym, a mental mindset, and in community with others. So Lee would not be one of the best basketball players if he was not doing all those things. So well said, Lee. And persistence is very important, because those are what you just talked about. I think you said it too, that it could be applied to your profession. That same concept, right? And Lee, I'm right there with you, because I think at one point you said that treat it like a test, because or do game speed. I think for me, sports allowed me to do that, because every game that I was playing was like the midterms, right? And then the championship or the final exam or tournaments was my exam. So that's what I've been building up for this. So what Lee is just sharing his experience of being part of the dynasty and getting to there, I guess. Lee, is there any other words that you want to add? Because we're going to transition to more specifically the wisdom and inspiration of the next generation. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
Okay. So the wisdom is going to be focused on, I'm going to focus on Hmong man, or you being a Hmong man, more your experience, or Hmong boy and man. I'm going to ask you about if someone wants to follow to you on a similar path, what advice would you give them? Like really break it down. This is how you do it. This is what you don't do. This is what you do. If someone wants to be exactly like a best basketball player and a father of four. Yeah. Well, your testimony is in itself an example of what not to do. So just focus on the positive. We already talked about all the things already, so you don't need to focus on the negative on this one. Okay. I am ready. All right. Okay, Lee. So I'm going to ask you the first question in terms of wisdom sharing to the next generation. Again, Letters Tou Mai Podcast believes that we have to pass the torch of wisdom to the next generation because it's our turn. That's it. So, Lee, my question to you is, what advice would you give someone who may want to follow in similar footsteps? What kind of ideology, mindset, persistence, what specific things that they should do?
First and foremost, I want to always have a can-do mindset, because if you don't have that kind of mindset, you're already doubting yourself. Always ask for guidance, ask questions. What I've done is always ask my dad if I needed to, how to fix a car. Be shown how to do it and not just have someone do it. So always be the present, hands-on, work hard, have confidence in yourself, and ask questions along the way. That will go a long way because folks already been through that already. So they can give you a blueprint of how to go through that, and just showing up and putting the effort day in and day out.
Yeah, agreed. Well said. And Lee also touched base on college and education, how it wasn't for him, but it was for him. Talk a little bit more about that, Lee.
At college, I felt was just to kind of please my parents once I got out of high school. So that never really went too well. But knowing that I worked at a few dead-end jobs, jumping place to place, hard labor, I felt that I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life. There's no way that you busting your butt, your back, working overtime, that you're gonna have you're gonna have a lot of freedom, make a decent living. So I came to a point where I looked at myself and I said, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? Do I really love this overtime? Do I really love this pay that I get? Why not, put a little effort into going to college, get an education, bettering yourself, and finding a career? So I went back to school at a community college, a technical college, got my associates in computer networking, which I'm not pursuing networking at all, but at least it's a degree and it's a step in the door.
That's right.
Of the world into a better life and a better career, where I'm not really hurting my body and I have time for my loved ones.
Good. That's powerful. Lee, normally I ask guests on the wisdom that they want to share with the listeners, but I'm going to ask you something a little bit differently. Can you share us with the wisdom that elders have passed on to you? I know you talked about your mom, but I think it would be important for you to bring up how male elders and their wisdom has passed on to you and something that you held on close to the heart.
I just want to say, be present. Be present. I know as like my parents are immigrants, dad was always working hard. So as a dad, me as a father to my kids, I want to be present. I want to be showing them how to do things firsthand, how to be a man, how to have confidence in themselves, having that can-do mindset. To me, that was never told to me, but I knew that if I weren't putting myself in that kind of mindset, I wouldn't be able to do it. Other things were to love each other and have respect for each other that were passed down to me. Without love, compassionate, and just being respectful to others, it's hard for anybody to listen to you or to acknowledge you. Love goes a long way, and I love everybody around me. It makes for a better time for sure. And everyone's in the same bubble where everybody wants somebody to talk to, someone needs somebody to talk to. You never know, you could be that person that helps the next person get through what they're going through.
Absolutely. No, it's powerful. Thank you, Lee, for sharing that. Now I want you to direct your wisdom. I know you talked about it already on the things you want to pass to your boys and your son, but be direct at them right now. So things that
Yeah.
you want to share, your wisdom and so forth.
So I found this quote from a barber that I follow. His name is Vic Blends. His quote goes like this: "The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. It takes discipline to grow. It takes sacrifice to grow. And more importantly, it's going to take patience to grow. You can try to rush the process and jump on somebody else's yard, but I promise you will never be grateful as you would growing your own." To me, that quote there is to have confidence in yourself, to always learn, to always grow, and put 100% in everything that you do. It's like I said, it's easy to jump on to somebody else's bandwagon, but it's more pleasing, it's more rewarding when you do it yourself.
Oh yeah.
And you know that you have accomplished something on your own.
Yeah. Well, the difference would be if we were at a championship, Lee, and you were the guard who played 40 minutes and I didn't play the championship, obviously I'm going to feel like I didn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So, what Lee is saying is like, it's not that everyone has a role, but the thing is like, make yourself to the best person so you can be in the role that you want to be. So, and also Lee, one thing, I love that quote, so you're going to send it to me. One thing I took out from that, I agree with what you said, is know where you are presently and enjoy it. So I like that.
Yeah.
Just water the grass in front of you.
Definitely.
Is that what you're sharing to your son?
Yeah, that's what I like to share to my sons, that quote, and just kind of let them know that, put the effort in yourself before you put effort in others, because if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of others.
Now I want you to direct that at your kids and finish the sentence. My hope for you all is
to grow up loving each other, knowing where you came from, knowing your background, knowing your culture, and succeeding and taking in what I've been telling you, to not make the same mistakes I have and be better than me.
I hope you achieve
all the greatest things in life that I never got the chance to, and I would share those things that I would like to do and I would want you guys to do. I hope you achieve a great life, a great partner, great successful career, and not have to worry about anything.
one sentence or two. What is your last wisdom or knowledge you want to share with them while on this podcast?
Going back to the letter, I just want to say the 4 L's: learn, love, live, and laugh. Those 4 L's has got me through a lot, and there's always room for learning and be better than I am.
Well said. Well, thank you everyone for listening to Lee's conversation. Just want to wrap it up a little bit. Lee, you talked about amazing topics as a Hmong man, as a father. You talked about some very vulnerable aspects of life in your childhood and how that shaped you, molded you, and broke you. You talked about being part of Dynasty and talked about brotherhood, community. And I'm really happy that we had a chance to be in this present moment and experience it together. And again, Lee is my brother-in-law. We've been to many deep conversations that we had, happiness, sorrow, and happiness, and so forth. So I'm happy that you are able to listen to this. For anyone who's going through situations such as Lee, going through loneliness, vulnerabilities, or difficulties with your own identity, is just seek help. Well, if not, listen to this podcast. So we'll talk more about this. Lee is the first heterosexual male that I have invited onto this podcast. We will definitely invite more to talk more about toxic masculinity, on how to heal, on how to challenge some of the things that aren't working for our community. And again, I'm just one voice. I don't speak for Hmong community, but these are things that I want us to talk about because no one's talking about it at the end of the day. Lee, any last words you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for having me on the podcast. I hope folks find this podcast and take away something good and apply it to their life, because we can only be better.
That's right. Thank you all for joining the Letters Tou Mai Podcast, where letters that speak and stories that heal. Bye.
Thank you. Peace.
Thank you for joining us on Letters to My Podcast inaugural Season 1. We hope you can hear the power of storytelling, vulnerability, and self-expression rooted in the Hmong tradition. Let's continue to bridge the digital divide. I am Sai's niece. My name is Emma, and he is my uncle. He has helped me become more confident and made me come out of my comfort zone. I remember one day he took us nieces out to Dairy Queen. We decided to race back to the car, but my sister ran too fast and slipped under the car. It was memorable because it was funny, and those moments are something I would cherish forever. Letters to My Podcast is where vulnerability meets self-discovery. Self-discovery meets writing. Journaling, writing letters, or handwriting isn't just about writing what is on your mind or reliving your experiences. It is a medium for self-expression and self-reflection. Take a pause and time to think. For Sai, it began with journaling in college, a practice that became a lifeline. He poured his fears, tears, failures, successes, self-doubt, and inspiring quotes on index cards. At one point, he had over 300 index cards in a shoebox. Writing helped him discover a powerful path to self-awareness, increasing his mental well-being and assisting in processing his emotions. As a social worker, pen and paper were his constant companion, helping him process interactions and to not miss anything important. Sai has benefited from the power of writing and wants to revitalize this practice and share it with you all. A little bit more about my uncle, who is the host. Sai, he, him, his, is a first-generation Hmong American man, social worker, and community organizer with over 12 years of experience. Sai is diagnosed with ADHD. He is passionate about building community through storytelling, self-expression, and the importance of affinity with their human counterpart. Sai believes each generation builds upon the next and seeks to uplift the next generation. One quote that embodies Letters to My Podcast. Our children are the greatest hope we have. The future belongs to them. Nelson Mandela, South African revolutionary. Letters to My Podcast focuses on passing wisdom and uplifting the next generation. It is our turn to pass the torch of wisdom and leave the world a better place than we found it. Let us impart our hopes, dreams, and future to the next generation. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and give a 5-star rating to help with the algorithm. Letters to My Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Disclaimer: Sai Ying, LMSW, is not establishing a therapist-client relationship with listeners through this podcast, and any reliance on the content is at your own risk. The views expressed in this podcast are Sai Ying's personal opinions and do not necessarily reflect the views of their employer or licensing board. For any mental health concerns or questions, please seek guidance from a licensed mental health professional or call text the National Suicide Hotline 988. Thanks for listening to Letters That Speak, Stories That Heal. Sai's niece Emma, outro done. Oh, ciao.